G'day guys, Kale from How to Rip here. Today we're going to talk to you guys about surfboards and different surfboards, which ones you should choose depending on where you are at with your surfing ability, and that's what we're going to go into today. So you can see we've got a few different surfboards lined up here today. Number one, we've actually got the classic beginner surfboard. So you can see this board is quite long, so naturally it's going to have quite a fair bit of volume. Okay, when we talk about volume, that's basically talking about how well the surfboard's going to float. Okay, you can also see it's quite wide and it's also quite thick, so it's very beginner friendly. It's going to be very easy to pick up speed when you're paddling. It's going to be very easy to catch things like your whitewater waves. So it's going to be very stable as well when you're standing. Now that's obviously very good for a beginner. So obviously in the How to Rip original video that we showed you guys, we talk about actually jumping this step and moving towards a fish surfboard. Now if you've got access to a surfboard like this for maybe 2 or 3 sessions, it can be a very good idea to start here because it actually increases that learning curve and you guys can get used to standing up and getting stable on the surfboard, catching waves, all those things, before jumping to a more advanced surfboard. Now, the downside of a board like this is that you're not going to be able to maneuver it as well as the smaller surfboard. So let's look at those. So we've got the learner board there. In the DVD, How to Rip, we actually recommend you jump to something like this, which is more of a hybrid surfboard, mixing a fish between a more traditional surfboard like this one here. This allows for a good mix of adequate volume, which helps you paddle faster, catch waves and also be stable on the surfboard, and it also allows for adequate maneuverability and gives you a lot of freedom in terms of learning maneuvers and doing lots of different turns as well. It's also nice and short, so it fits into smaller waves better. Now obviously when you start moving into bigger waves and whatnot, boards like this can get a little bit skiddy, which means it's very hard to get traction in the wave, so you may want to jump towards something we'll go to next, which is the JS here. Okay, so this is a very traditional surfboard, something that has become less popular as we've come into the last few years. This though does still have its place, so certainly in big waves, this is something that you would want to use because it's very thin, it's very long and skinny, so there's not that much volume, but it will actually hold in bigger waves a little bit better. This is something that will be slightly difficult for a beginner to actually jump on straight away. So for a beginner, if you're looking at surfboards, just look for that characteristic very thin nose here, and that's a sign that it may be a little bit too thin for you. Now next level on that is to go full bore into the fish fun zone, and this is what we've got here in the pod. And this is a very wide, very round surfboard. It's very short though, so it does fit into small waves well. It does carry that additional volume which we talked about before, which will help you get waves and also stay stable. And it's just an all-round fun sort of board. But like we said before, if you're just beginning, if you can and you have access to it, start off with a longer learner board like this, and then as soon as you can, so you can start practicing maneuvers like we talk about in the DVD, jump onto a board like this. We'll catch you soon.